This podcast is about mean. What should we know about mean? The mean is a way to measure the center of a group of numbers or your distribution. The symbol for mean is an X with a line above it, and we say it is X bar. The mean is a non-resistant measure of center, meaning that it is affected by outliers or extreme values in your data set. It's also affected by strong skewness. And if one talks about mathematical average, they are usually talking about mean. How do we find the mean? We need to know the number of observations that we have, and mean, or X bar, is equal to the first X plus the second X plus the third X, all the way to the last X, and the sum of those numbers divided by N. Another form of this formula uses the summation notation. So X bar equals 1 over N times the summation of 1 to N of X sub I, which would be your N observations. Let's find the mean of two small data sets. In the first example, X bar again would be the sum of our data divided by our number of data points, which is 5, and again often represented by N. In this case, we would get 99 divided by 5, or 19 and 8/10 for our mean. In the second data set, I again have 5 data points. And again, I will take the sum of the 5 data points divided by 5. This will be 128 divided by 5, which is 25 and 6/10. You can see that the data points or data sets are very similar, but in the second data set, I included quite a large data point, 50 to the other data points. This would be considered an outlier, and you can see that it did have an effect on the mean. It pulled the mean to a higher value, and again, this shows that mean is a non-resistant measure of center. On our calculator, there are 2 places to find the mean, and this is helpful if you have a large data set and you need to enter the data into a list on your calculator. After you've done that, you can go into the list menu, tab over to math, and take number 3, the mean, and then you need to say the list that you want to work with. So it could be the mean of list 1, or if you had already saved the list under some name, let's say test, maybe you could find the mean of test. The second place that you can get the mean is under the stat menu, tab over to calculate, take number 1, one variable stats, and again you'd have to say what list you would want your calculator to do your one variable stats. To show you what this looks like on your calculator, I have entered the data in list 1, and you can see easily that I have my 10 data points. I will go to list, which is above the stat key. I will go over to math, and I will take number 3. What is the mean of list 1? And in this case, in this data set that I put in, the mean is 15 and 8/10. The other place to find the mean, again, is to go into Stat, go to Calculate, take number 1, one variable stat of list 1, and you can see X bar is the very first thing listed, which is 15 and 8 tenths. There are other bits of information that would have told us that that is also the mean. And I'll pull this screen onto my other sheet. If I'm looking at the formula here, you can see that n is listed right here. It also gives us the sum of the observations. So if I use that formula, 1 over 10, and the sum of my observations is 158, I will also get X bar to be 15 and 8 tenths, which was on the screen. This ends the podcast on mean.